time for this. It was number 50. How did it feel when you went around Elio Castroneves and took the lead?
Well, thank you everybody for being here. It's really cool. It was, I knew that the last stint was going to be important. Definitely a good call from the pits, from Kyle Moyer, who calls my races, to pit on the at the end of the yellow flag, and it was going to be close on fuel, but we were obviously giving ourselves the best opportunity possible. And as soon as we went green after that yellow flag, it was all about saving fuel. And Elio Castroneves and Ed Carpenter were on the same strategy as I was on, and you know, halfway through the stint, I knew that it was Elio was first and I was second if everything played out the way it was looking. And so then when it came down to 5 to go or so, I'm thinking, you know, actually it was probably a little bit more than that. It was probably 10 to go, and I'm like, where's Elio? Like, where is he? I'm supposedly P2 to him, so 5 laps later, as he backed up saving fuel, I kind of was like, hey, you know, kick it up a notch and get by him, because if this is what it comes down to, you better not think to yourself, I wish I would have tried a little bit harder. So, you know, probably would have happened whether I would have pushed or not, because it seemed like he was running out of fuel quite a bit at the end. But it was very nice to drive by him, and I didn't even know at that point, really, it was definitely mine. It wasn't until I probably looked up at the leaderboard myself in the middle of the track and saw 7 at the top that I really kind of knew. And Kyle came on the radio and said, you can use as much fuel as you want, bring it around, the checkered flag's yours. That was a big relief. Long time I've waited for this. Wish it would have happened a long time ago, but I'm not going to argue with the program. It happened the way it was supposed to happen, and it's going to be one of those things that's remembered. It's a first, and firsts are always, you know, firsts are in history books. So, you know, I've definitely thought about that before, and I've always hoped and wanted to be that person. It's probably one of the only things I really thought of myself as a girl in. Otherwise, I don't really think about it a lot. But I did think it would be nice to be the first female to win in history. So, since history goes for a pretty long time, that's a pretty long time.
Mike, Danica, you've had support from various and sundry teammates over the course of these 4 years. How much of that has have you had to help you and get you to where you are today?
Good question. You know, there's been a lot of help over the years. I would say of late, definitely the most though. With last year, with Dario and Marco and Tony, and you know, I think that these are guys, Brian Herta, I mean, these are guys that have always been very kind. It's funny actually. What comes to mind is what Brian Herta told me at Mid-Ohio last year. I was on the front row for the first time in our road course, which was great, and he said, you know, when you won your first race, he's like, you're gonna go, you know, I wasn't doing anything different that day. It just happened, and I wasn't doing anything that different yesterday. It just happened, and he was right. And I think the biggest thing that I've gained from my teammates, beside the obvious fact of great competition and, you know, always pushing me to a new level. I've been very lucky to have great teammates in the last couple of years. Was the positive attitude. You know, my teammates always said things like, when you win your first race, when you win, this is what we're going to do. And they always put that in my head. And while I always believed it, it was nice to hear that from guys like Tony Kanaan and like Dario Franchitti. And that's it's a big honor. So I think that they put that positive frame of mind and that presence there every time. So a lot of positive attitude and confidence.
One of your team co-owners, Michael Andretti, in an interview said after he retired, he didn't enjoy the wins so much because there were times he didn't win. It was tough to take the losses. So if you ask Michael, when he was very young, the not winning was very tough. Do you think after you win now, you'll be a little lighter on yourself now when you get in a race car?
I've already been thinking about Kansas, so, you know, because somebody asked me, you know, do you just wish you could just get to Kansas? And I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm like, no, I need to keep my wins mine for now. But, you know, I think that there are individual wins on weekends, and, you know, the public is obviously recognizing the clear victories, the real ones. But I think, you know, while it was obviously a great race and I won yesterday, I'm not going to say that was my best and favorite and, you know, race of all time that I've done. There have been plenty others that have been, you know, very challenging and rewarding when you come through doing a good job. And some of them weren't for wins, though, you know. So you work hard, I feel like, to do the best you can at every race. And for those times that are frustrating that you don't win, the wins that might not be your best race even, as a driver, it's paying you back for all the times that it should have happened.
It looks better than it has in a long, long time, and you play a big role in that. Can you just talk a little bit about that and you know, the future of the sport and, you know, your role in that?
Thanks, and congratulations to Will Power, and you know, what a great way to end the final Champ Car race here at Long Beach. We're going to be back, but it's just not going to be called Champ Car. So congratulations to everybody, and everybody for making the merger happen. You know, there's been so many times I've heard that it was close, and close doesn't get you there. And I'm glad that everyone put it together and you know, looked at the big picture. So that's great. But the momentum of the series is clear. I think that the IndyCar series has been growing over the last couple of years, and there's been a lot of great things, obviously, that have happened over the past winter. And, you know, the fact that normal, ordinary people know something about a merger of series, which I just said this earlier, I don't even like to bring it up because it's just confusing. You know, fans don't understand. The fact that they know about that, I think that speaks volumes about how the growth of the series has been, and the direction that we're going with everything. So it's a bright future for IndyCar, and this is just the start. Everything will snowball from here.
Jim Pelt.